Okay, there's a change of plans in Bitcoin, or at least in the way I'm trading Bitcoin right now. Most of it's still the same, but I made some significant tweaks in the way I'm approaching Bitcoin right now. I'm going to explain to you guys exactly what that looks like, how it's influencing my trading right now. So, I'm going to give you guys the straightforward, basic understanding of what I'm changing and why I'm doing it. And then I'll get into more detail. And then I'm also going to go over my opinions on a handful of articles and a handful of things that are also influencing my view on Bitcoin right now, just my own trading as well, but and the charts. But let's go ahead and get started, right? So here is a picture, the short position I took yesterday. Um, I closed it out today. I ended up doubling it, so I put 20,000 total invested into a short Bitcoin um, using SBIT, and I was down like 800 earlier in the day, and then I was able to get it down to just being down uh, overall 200 and $56.60 from opening the position. So I took the loss from being more significant to less, and I'm going to tell you guys why I did that, why I closed out that position, and just taking a small loss on it. And that's also why I highly stress in so many videos about position sizing, not over leveraging yourself depending on the structure, knowing when there's signs that are telling you to get out. You gotta, you can't be emotional or tied to your trades in any way. You gotta know when the signs are there. And so I'm very happy taking a 200 and whatever dollar loss, because what I'm going to tell you guys right now, I think is very, very significant and should not be overlooked, or at least, I could be wrong, but this is just my opinion. Um, so yeah, basically last night I had a resistance, a smaller picture resistance area to keep an eye on. I was keeping an eye on this overnight and during today, and I noticed that the price broke it, but it didn't just break it. It broke it in a sort of structure that I don't really see quite often, especially on the hourly charts. It's very significant where we see a quick dip. We see a quick dip, aggressive dip on an overall bearish trend. And normally, an average dip will either look like this, where it's quick, and then there's fluctuating going on to try to like balance it out before we come down. And then same thing on the recovery. There's quick pumps, but trying to balance it out, you have a lot of fluctuations as the price continues to trade. But now what we have is something much, much different. We just have a quick dip. We broke through the retracement, which at the time looked something like this, where I was just keeping track of a basic retracement tool. It broke through it. It didn't use any of the internal fib structures within the overall fib area to fluctuate. There was basically no fluctuation going on until the price finally hit the overall bigger picture retracement from this whole move down. So this is very, very interesting, because now, um, after seeing the price come down, one big move, go up, basically one big move, it didn't come down to try to balance this area out in a proper retracement, at least not yet. It's just doing so very lightly right here. And the reason I ended up closing that position was, this isn't something that happens, at least from what I've seen, so often. And I'm going to talk about why this is so important. A little trading strategy that I do, that I've talked about so much in 2024, and I've been stressing about it, how important it is. But I'm gonna get into detail about that in a moment. But yeah, we're seeing like no fluctuation, just entire price moves getting just filled on the reversal. It's just, this is very, very interesting, and this is actually quite bullish in my opinion, because so when the price went up, I break over the 120 moving average, and I said, okay, it's over the 120 moving average. The R side's pretty much maxed out to the premium side, and I'm down like almost 1,000. So then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to double it to try to capture a reversal down to try to hit the moving average on the RSI in case there's a lot, because there's obviously a lot of bullish momentum. So I don't want to over, like, how do you say, rely on a retracement tool when there's so much clear bullish momentum and no easy to understand, sort of, like, at least on the hourly chart, maybe on the 4 hour and the 2 hour, there's super clear imbalances forming, but at least on the 1 hour chart there's no imbalances. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to use a small profit on a second short position to try to cancel out, balance out the current short that I had opened. So I'm taking less of a loss on that, and then I'm just gonna sit back and watch the price do its thing and wait for a proper setup, or at least an easier to understand setup in the short term, to understand how I would want to approach Bitcoin continuing forward. So I ended up closing out the position, like I showed you guys, like 260, something like that, down. Very fortunately, as well, it's very nice to see small losses being taken instead of just being hopeful and letting it run and hoping, instead of just cutting it and then focusing on a future structure when it presents itself. But what I ended up doing, because I am so biased, I've been so biased on this retracement area, which is still valid. I am not invalidating this until we have a solid uptrend that overtakes all this fluctuation right here. The moment we break over this swing high, pretty much this fib area in yellow is not something I'm going to be looking at so much going forward. I'm still going to leave it there because soon enough the price will be past it. But I'm still keeping an eye on this down here because we haven't broken over the swing high over here at 105,440 basically. So I'm still keeping an eye on this, and I'm not invalidating this until we have a clear uptrend that again overtakes all this fluctuations that we have right here, the swing high, because it's very, very important. Because now if the price were to continue to fluctuate, hold a higher low, hold bullish momentum, then we can continue to trade over the 120 moving average quite nicely, and then that can allow the price to go up and actually easily go over 109, potentially even over 110,000 once again. So until that happens, I'm waiting for clear evidence on whether or not it is going to happen, or we're going to continue to see fluctuations and maybe have a second test of this swing low, potentially coming into the purple area finally. But until that happens, I'm just being super cautious right now because I do not want to over leverage myself to one side when now there's a lot of mixed news, and it's much better to wait for a proper setup. So it's as simple as that. So what I ended up doing, because I'm so biased on this area, and we have very, very clear aggressive bullish momentum, like none. Even if you guys look at this imbalance, none of these imbalances acted as a resistance whatsoever. So, so I ended up adding $20,000 into BitU, as I'm starting the position I wanted to start down here. I'm gonna start it earlier, so I already started it. $20,000 that invested into BitU. I'm not gonna add any more into it until we have clear bullish uptrend or the price comes down into the purple area. So I started early because this is just a fib retracement tool. The price came down even though it did break below the swing low. To me, this isn't a proper correction, but it is proper. It's just, I'm just super biased towards this area, so I want to start accumulating now. I'm not going to add more until we have a clear bullish uptrend that overtakes the previous consolidation area right here, or it comes down into the purple. So I'm leaving it as that. And this is the start of a swing trade that I want to hold on to for multiple months until the bull run is over, until Bitcoin maximizes this green area to whatever extent it's going to. So this is the start of a multi-month long swing trade. I started today. I really, really want to stress something in 2024 that I mentioned earlier in the videos that I was going to explain. So if you guys remember in 2024, and then after that I'm going to talk about some stuff. But in 2024, I kept saying, and I kept documenting, I was showing you guys, and I made a lot of money, a lot of profit off of it. I kept saying, and this is my own opinion, but it's really, really good to trade short-term fluctuations on a separate exchange, separate brokerage, separate portfolio to take advantage of short-term fluctuations as they make sense to your own trading, and then have a core position that to take advantage of the biased nature for the rest of whatever trend we're in. And I kept saying, at least in my opinion, it's worth rebalancing once or twice a year, depending on what's going on. So, so I'm not stressing over this too much because I'm making money in the background with the core position, just like in 2024. It's been rebalanced, and I stress not everyone rely on just trading short term, but trading the longer term picture as well. It's not considered investing because it's all getting rebalanced. Um, uh, Significantly once or twice a year. So it's not like you're not actually investing because you're not holding on to anything. You're just taking a longer term swing trade. I'm gonna continue to do short term trading depending on what's happening, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. But no clear evidence just yet on whether or not we're gonna continue into the purple. It's still possible. I haven't ruled this out of the picture just yet. But but yeah, guys, it's very important to make money trading in multiple different strategies, taking advantage of different time frames. Um, and I'm gonna start stressing that more throughout this year because I haven't talked about it much whatsoever this year, and I talked about it a ton last year. So I want to try to bring that back and remind everyone, especially if you're new to the channel. But here's the thing, right? To back up a lot of stuff I just said, there is this. If you guys look at the Bitcoin heat maps, you know if there's a lot of liquidations or not. But seeing a lot of, you know, Bitcoin traders being liquidated to the longs removes a lot of that leverage within the market, and this allows, you know, actual more important liquidity enter the market. That's not a leveraged liquidity. The real liquidity that actually goes into the value of Bitcoin significantly. It's not being traded. We don't want trading liquidity to really pump the price. We want actual investment money. So seeing a lot of that exit the market, and as it exits the market, we're still holding on to a very nice level. We're still above 100K. We're not showing any significant signs. I've talked about this, I think, like 2 days ago of the bull market being over. So seeing 308 million in longs being liquidated, and that didn't trigger more, is a very positive sign. So a bottom is either in or near, and that's what I'm trying to wait to see if I want to call this to be invalidated or not. So I'm still waiting on that. So another thing, tariffs. We're in this like wave of negativity and positivity in the tariff news, and it's back and forth. We had that 50% steel tariff recently. I think it was steel. And now there's positive news of Japan making progress in the tariff. So it's just a matter of fact of like, soon enough more progression maybe we went back down when it comes to progression with China, and then maybe that's gonna pump back up. Who knows? There's a lot of mixed news, but tariffs are slowly making progress. So it's just something to keep an eye on, and it is of course going to influence the price. So we don't want to be overly bearish in the short term. We do have a nice retracement in. It's not completely full, at least in my own personal opinion, but we are seeing signs that a bottom is potentially near, at least in my opinion. And then of course the jobs report. Now this is a little tricky because we want the Fed to cut rates, and if we're seeing a better structure within the jobs economy, then it just makes it a lot easier for the Federal Reserve to hold instead of cutting rates. So it's just something to keep an eye on as we go forward. We still don't have genuine progression in tariffs. There's still negotiations happening back and forth, and then we have what do you call it? The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, is going to most likely just hold, and I think personally he's just going to say we're going to wait for more evidence, wait for the tariffs to progress, and to see if all of this inflation that was due to tariffs, see how that progresses, and then go on from there. It's just there's a lot of what ifs, a lot of question marks. So the way I'm letting that influence my trades right now is I want to see um, genuine progression. Now I started accumulating that swing trade I've been mentioning. I've been wanting to accumulate for a long time now. I just started accumulating at $20,000 invested into BitU. I like BitU. It's probably better if I accumulate with like iBit, but it's fine. I like BitU. I It works for me. Uh, so now, because of this very bullish V-shaped recovery right here, and we're not seeing a lot of negative bearish volume increasing, I just want to be very, very cautious when it comes to how I'm taking advantage of short term. I'm still gonna be short term trading, regardless of opening the swing trade. Um, but now I just want to make sure I'm properly conserving capital and properly taking the correct positions. So right now we have a lot of bullishness. We had this big dip, quick recovery, no weakness within the structure whatsoever. We start seeing a little bit of a correction, fails to come down into this area, and instead we're seeing a continuation of bullish momentum building. This is a very interesting pattern right here, and we're still trying to like hug and hold above that 120 moving average. So basically, I'm gonna keep an eye on Bitcoin going forward. I'm gonna update you guys on more videos as I continue to make sense of this. Short term is always a lot more difficult. There's a lot of noise in the chart, and a lot of noise in the news media as well. So I want to not get ahead of myself and instead just be patient and wait for the chart to tell me what it wants to do, so I can take advantage of it and document it for you guys. Overall though, when it comes to overall more important swing trades that actually matter, um, we're still technically in a downtrend, regardless of this looking very interesting and very bullish. Um, Very, very bullish structure. I mean, especially seeing this recover just about 100%, and the R side didn't cross the uh the 70. This is very, very bullish. But again, I'm not ruling this out until we get what I mentioned earlier. So, but still, technically, it's still an overall downtrend. I want to express how important it is, in my opinion, to still be very, very cautious when it comes to how aggressive you're going to start. If you want to take long positions, and if you're going to do it now, how aggressive you are going to be with it. I only invested at 20,000. I plan to invest a lot more than that into this overall swing trade that I opened up. I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to show to you guys what that looks like as I continue to build it up. I plan to more than double it soon enough. I'm just waiting for a good reason to actually add more to it. But again, this position now is going to just be to take advantage of a continuation of a bull run, and of course, you want to, you know, keep an eye on those core positions and see if you need to rebalance it or not. But as of right now, in my opinion, anyone that's long on a core position, um, just add to it. My opinion, but we'll see what happens. I'll catch you guys soon. I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you.